Imagine a moment so still that even your thoughts dare not ripple the silence. Picture a state of mind as calm and clear as a mirror-like lake, so serene that it reflects the entire cosmos without the slightest distortion. In this stillness, something remarkable begins to unfold. You're no longer chasing answers in ancient scriptures or the worn-out pages of legend. Instead, truth begins to bloom not as a belief, but as a living, breathing experience. Welcome to the world of Zen, a world where words fall short and silence speaks volumes. A path that cannot be mapped, only walked. A way of life so simple yet so profound, it dissolves the line between the sacred and the mundane. Today we'll take you on a journey not just through the history, philosophy, and practice of Zen Buddhism, but through the very heart of a tradition that reshapes how we see ourselves in the world. This is not just a lesson in ancient wisdom. It is an invitation to live differently, to see differently, to experience the universe as it is, not as we're told it should be. So are you ready to step into a reality where truth isn't taught but touched? Let's begin. The history of Zen Buddhism. The awakening begins. The story of Zen begins over 2,500 years ago in ancient India with a young prince named Siddhartha Gautama. Born into a life of luxury, he had everything: wealth, power, comfort. And yet when he encountered suffering, illness, aging, death, he walked away from it all in search of something deeper. What he found was awakening. Through deep meditation and inward inquiry, Siddhartha became the Buddha, the awakened one, and his teachings would forever change the spiritual landscape of the world. But the journey of Zen as we know it was still centuries away. As Buddhism spread across Asia, it traveled along ancient trade routes like the Silk Road, carrying with it seeds of wisdom. When these seeds reached China in the 6th century, they encountered the rich spiritual soil of Taoism, a philosophy deeply rooted in nature, spontaneity, and the flow of life. Out of this meeting was born a new branch of Buddhism, Chan. Chan would later blossom into Zen when it reached Japan. At the heart of this transformation was a mysterious and legendary figure, Bodhidharma. An Indian monk and the 28th patriarch in the lineage of Indian Buddhism, Bodhidharma is often credited as the father of Chan. His life remains shrouded in mystery, veiled in both history and myth. But what we do know is powerful. He carried a revolutionary message that shook the spiritual world of his time. He journeyed from India across treacherous mountain ranges, possibly even crossing the Himalayas to arrive in China. But he didn't bring scrolls or scriptures. He brought silence. Bodhidharma taught that true awakening could not be found in rituals or sacred texts. It could only arise through direct experience and deep meditation. His method: to simply sit, to turn inward, to face the truth within. When he arrived at the famous Shaolin monastery, he found monks who were physically weak and spiritually unfocused. To reinvigorate them, Bodhidharma introduced two transformative practices: seated meditation known as dhyana, which would evolve into zazen, and physical exercises that would later influence traditional martial arts. Perhaps the most iconic story about him is this: Bodhidharma meditated facing a wall for 9 years. He said nothing. He moved little. He simply watched. This act wasn't about the wall. It was about confronting the wall within the mental chatter, the ego, the illusion of separation. For him, the truth was not something to be spoken. It was something to be realized. While Bodhidharma planted the seeds of Zen in China, it was a remarkable Japanese monk named Dogen Zenji who cultivated them into the deeply refined tradition we know today. Born in the year 1200 into an aristocratic family, Dogen experienced loss early in life. His mother died when he was still a child, a trauma that awakened in him a deep sense of impermanence. This realization would haunt and inspire him throughout his spiritual journey. At just 13, Dogen entered the monastic life, but he was troubled by a profound question. If all beings already possess Buddha nature, why is there a need to practice? This question became the fire that burned inside him. Dissatisfied with the answers offered in Japan, he made a courageous decision to travel to China in search of deeper understanding. There he met Rujing, a great master of the Chan tradition. Under Rujing's guidance, Dogen had a profound realization: practice and enlightenment are not separate. To sit in meditation, to live with awareness, to be fully present, this was already enlightenment itself. It wasn't about achieving a future state. It was about fully experiencing this moment right now. When he returned to Japan, Dogen founded the Eiheiji Monastery, which remains a vital Zen center even today. There he wrote his magnum opus, the Shobogenzo Treasury of the True Dharma Eye, a collection of teachings that illuminated his deep insights on time consciousness and the nature of reality. For Dogen, enlightenment was not reserved for mountaintops or temples. It could be found in every act: washing a bowl, chopping wood, sweeping the floor. As he famously wrote, to study the way is to study the self. To study the self is to forget the self. Through Dogen, Zen in Japan became a path of elegant simplicity and profound depth, faithful to the spirit of the Buddha, yet shaped by the Japanese soul. This is just the beginning. Zen is not a doctrine, but a living pulse. It's not about believing, but about being. And as we continue this journey, we'll dive even deeper into the essential practices of Zen, including the art of Zazen, the role of paradoxical koans, and the beautiful fusion of discipline and spontaneity that defines this path. Because in Zen, the path to awakening doesn't begin in some faraway future. It begins where you are here now in this breath. So, what happens when you stop searching? You just might find what was never missing to begin with. The living philosophy of Zen. There is no beginning and no end, wrote Dogen Zenji, the great Japanese Zen master. To abandon divisions and discriminations is to see things as they truly are. With these words, Dogen points us toward the essence of Zen, the dissolution of all opposites, the dropping away of right and wrong self and other, even time itself. To experience Zen is to experience unity with reality, not as a theory, but as direct truth. Zen does not seek to explain life. It seeks to experience it, not through thought, but through presence. For Dogen, Zen could not be reduced to intellectual understanding. It was something to be practiced, lived, breathed. His declaration was simple yet profound. Sitting in Zazen is the complete manifestation of awakening. In that single act, seated meditation, the entire cosmos reveals itself. Zazen is not a technique, it is the way. The posture, the breath, the stillness. These are not symbols of spirituality. They are its living form. When we truly sit, body and mind fall into harmony with the universe. The illusion of separation dissolves. In that space, there is no past or future, only this eternal, ungraspable now. In another writing, Dogen expressed a truth that challenges how we see time. Time does not pass. We pass through time. Let that sink in. When we realize this, the present is no longer a fleeting second slipping through our fingers. It becomes eternity itself, not endless time, but timeless presence. This is Zen's core: to fully inhabit the now, not as an idea, but as a doorway to the infinite. More than a philosophy, Zen is a direct experience. It breaks free from the chains of logical thinking. It refuses to be caged by doctrine or belief. As D.T. Suzuki, one of the most influential voices in bringing Zen to the West, once said, Zen is not an explanation. It is an experience. That's what sets Zen apart. It doesn't offer answers. It points toward a deeper knowing that arises within, beyond words, beyond form. At the center of Zen is the radical idea that awakening cannot be given. It cannot be memorized. It must be discovered by you through your own experience. Pointing directly to the human mind, says a famous Zen phrase, see your true nature and become Buddha. No intermediaries, no dogmas, no separation. Truth is here, now in you. Zen is rooted in simplicity, but its simplicity is powerful, even disarming. It bypasses the intellect and speaks to something deeper. Take, for example, the enigmatic koan. These are riddles or paradoxes used in Zen to jolt the mind out of habitual thought. One such koan asks, without moving your lips or your tongue, say something about Zen. What can you say when speech itself is forbidden? This question isn't meant to be answered. It's meant to break the illusion that truth can be spoken. It urges the practitioner to feel the truth directly beyond language. As Shunryu Suzuki once said, the posture is the awakening. No need for complicated doctrines. Just sit, breathe, be present. In Zen, there's no separation between the sacred and the ordinary. Even the most mundane action, sweeping the floor, drinking tea, can become a mirror of awakening. Zen shows us that clarity arises not from doing more, but from doing less with presence. Zen also challenges one of the deepest illusions we carry: the idea of a fixed, separate self. To study the way is to study the self, said Dogen. To study the self is to forget the self. When we drop the ego, even for a moment, we see clearly. We are not isolated beings. We are life itself flowing in every form. This is not a metaphysical belief. It is a felt reality, one that reveals itself in silence, in stillness, in the simple rhythm of breath. Of a famous Zen saying captures this paradox beautifully. Before enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. What changes? Not the world, but the way we see the world, the way we meet it. Zen doesn't offer escape, it offers transformation from within. In Japan, Zen became more than meditation. It became a way of living. Take Chanoyu, the tea ceremony. At first glance, it might seem like a simple act of making and drinking tea. But in Zen, every step, warming the cup, boiling the water, whisking the matcha, is performed with full mindfulness and deep respect. Each gesture is deliberate. Each motion is a form of meditation. This isn't just serving tea. It is the embodiment of presence, a moving prayer, a still dance, a ritual that turns the ordinary into the sacred. Zen's influence can also be seen in calligraphy. Each stroke must be made with awareness and spontaneity. There is no going back, no erasing. The brush captures not only the form, but the state of mind. Every line is a fingerprint of the moment. And in the art of Zen gardening, stones, sand, and plants are arranged not for decoration, but to invite reflection. These gardens are not walked through, they are sat with like silent companions. Their purpose is to awaken a sense of stillness and contemplation in those who behold them. What separates a Buddha from an ordinary person? Nothing but presence. The difference is not in action, but in attention. To serve tea, to wash a bowl, to walk down a path, these are not obstacles to spirituality. They are the spiritual path. As Dogen said, this very moment is eternity. The now has no beginning and no end. It is the canvas on which all of life is painted. Zen is the art of being fully here right now, not waiting for life to begin, not hoping for a better future, but realizing this is it. When we surrender to the present, time no longer stands apart from us. It becomes us. There is no longer a you living in time. There is only life. A Zen master once said, when you walk, just walk. When you eat, just eat. Simple, yes. Easy. Not at all. To live this way is to unlearn a lifetime of distraction to return to what has always been here, the unchanging now. This is the path of Zen, not through scriptures, not through belief, but through the sacred ordinariness of life itself. Zazen, the core of Zen practice. At the center of Zen Buddhism lies Zazen, the seated meditation practice that guides the practitioner toward a direct encounter with reality, untouched by thoughts, ideas, or distractions. The word itself is Japanese. Za means sitting, and Zen means meditation. But Zazen is much more than simply sitting still. It is a doorway to stillness, awareness, and ultimately awakening. Zazen is about more than posture. It is a state of being, a state where the constant noise of the mind begins to soften, where thoughts are allowed to rise and fall without judgment or attachment, where we let go of grasping, clinging, striving, and begin to simply be. In Zazen, mindfulness is not a technique to achieve something. It is the natural expression of presence. It is about showing up fully here and now, just as you are. Zazen is not a path of escape or intellectual pursuit. It's a physical philosophy, a direct way of inhabiting life with awareness. In this silent practice, there is no division between the one who meditates and the world around them. Subject and object dissolve. There is no meditator apart from meditation. There is only sitting, only breath, only being. Zen Master Dogen said it simply, sitting in Zazen is the practice of Buddhism, and the practice of Buddhism is the practice of our life. This is not a metaphor. For Dogen, the very act of sitting fully attentively was enough to bring awakening. Why? Because awakening is not somewhere else. It's not in the future. It's in the act of being present with what is. Though simple in form, Zazen is incredibly challenging in practice. For beginners, the stillness can feel unsettling. The mind resists clinging to thoughts, planning, worrying, remembering. But the goal of Zazen is not to silence the mind by force. It's not to push thoughts away. Instead, Zazen teaches us to observe, to notice thoughts as they come without chasing them, without judging them, without identifying with them. Feeling anxious, let the anxiety be there. Invite it to sit with you. Let it arise. Let it pass. This is the heart of the practice, witnessing without attachment. To begin practicing Zazen, find a quiet place, a space of stillness and calm. You don't need incense altars or statues, though many find these helpful. What matters most is an atmosphere of simplicity and focus. Sit in a position that is comfortable but alert. Traditionally, practitioners use a round cushion called a zafu, but any firm cushion or a meditation bench can work. The spine should be upright, the head aligned with the body, as if a string were gently lifting the crown of your head toward the scrotum. There are several traditional sitting postures. Full lotus. Both feet rest on opposite thighs. This is the most stable but also the most demanding. Half lotus. One foot rests on the opposite thigh, the other on the floor, a bit more accessible. Burmese position, legs crossed with both feet flat on the floor, a comfortable choice for beginners. The hands rest in the lap, palms up, forming an oval with the thumbs lightly touching. This is called the cosmic mudra. It centers your energy and attention. Your gaze should rest softly on a point in front of you. Eyes slightly open to avoid sleepiness, but not so wide as to invite distraction. Breathing in zazen is not controlled. It is observed. Let your breath be natural, slow and deep. Feel the air as it moves in and out of your body. Let it anchor your awareness. The core of Zazen practice is a form known as shikantaza, which means just sitting. That's it. No mantras, no visualizations, no effort to reach a higher state. Just sitting, just breathing, just being. There is no striving, no goal. You're not trying to empty your mind or become enlightened. You're simply being fully present with whatever is. As paradoxical as it may sound, the very absence of effort is what brings clarity. Zen master Hakuin once said, "When you feel yourself heading toward a goal, stop. Let it go. There is no goal, only the here and now." There is a common misunderstanding that meditation is about suppressing thoughts. In Zazen, thoughts are not the enemy. They are clouds passing through the sky. They come, they go, and you, the sky, remains still and vast. There is no guard at the gate of your mind in Zazen. You are not there to fight thoughts, but to let them pass without clinging, without labeling, without resisting. This is the true discipline, gentle awareness. Zazen sessions can vary in length from 20 minutes to an hour or more. For those just beginning, it's best to start small. Try 10 minutes a day, then add a minute each day as your comfort and focus grow. The most important thing is consistency. Zazen is not a hobby, it is a way of living. It's not about accumulating hours, it's about nurturing a state of presence that begins on the cushion and continues into your everyday life. Zen teacher Shunryu Suzuki wrote in Zen Mind Beginner's Mind, "In Zazen, you should just be without clinging to the idea of achieving something. This beginner's mind, open, fresh, unattached, is the ideal state of Zazen. It's where freedom is found not in success or mastery, but in the simple act of sitting without agenda." Zen teaches us that enlightenment isn't somewhere far away. It isn't locked in scriptures or hidden in mountaintops. It is already here in you, waiting to be recognized. Through the stillness of Zazen, we begin to see it, not with our eyes, but with our whole being. And so we arrive at the quiet heart of Zen. Zazen is more than meditation. It is a return to this breath, this moment, this life. To live with awareness and simplicity is to discover a profound truth. Freedom is always in the present. The teachings of Dogen and the Zen masters remind us that there is nothing more we need to do, no further place we need to go. The journey begins and ends right where we are. So if these teachings resonated with you, take them not as information, but as invitation to sit, to breathe, to live fully, honestly awake. Thank you for being here. If you found meaning in this video, leave a comment and share your thoughts. And wherever you are on your journey, may your practice bring you peace, presence, and the quiet joy of just being.